And now we move on to our final review, a non-spoiler review of Zombieland 2 Double Tap. Alright, so right off the bat, we pick up where we left off with the first Zombieland. The zombie family, whatever.
Wichita, Tallahassee, Columbus,
and Little Rock.
Little Rock, yes.
Are all living in harmony in the White House.
Mm-hmm.
But then zombies attack and adventures follow therefore.
Yes.
So, I just want to say the main problem with this movie, I didn't hate it, but I didn't really love it either.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Home Alone 2. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is, Home Alone 2, it's basically the same exact goddamn movie.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes it, or what excuses that,
mm-hmm.
For lack of a better term, is the fact that it's still so goddamn funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still clever and well done and well written. This, it just felt like more of the same, but none of it is good.
Yeah, I think that much like the follow-up to their 2016 smash hit Deadpool, the screenwriting duo behind this, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who did return to this, returning to the world of a beloved film that honestly did so much, I think, for comedy, action, and screenwriting altogether, it was all to kind of uninspiring results. And I think in a manner similar to Deadpool 2, this movie, Zombieland Double Tap, is at its best a decent, doodle of the spirit and magic that drew laughs and gasps and even some emotions for some back in 2009. And this is not that good of an evocation. It's not that close.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing I noticed, is that the humor especially felt real phoned in. And I think part of that might have been it's a strike while the iron's hot situation. Because in my mind, you have, generally speaking, between 2 and I'd say 7 years to make a sequel. Mm-hmm. And yes, there are exceptions where sometimes even all the way up to 10 years you can make a good sequel, but that's far and few. And this was 10 years later, and I felt like they just waited too long.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of hard to recapture that magic. Also, a couple of the twists, without giving away they're so obvious. Incredibly obvious.
Yeah. There's also just, I would say, overall, at its worst, this movie is just, it's shallow and it's comedically confused and just narratively uninspired.
Right.
They retread, the fan service. They retread through so many jokes and plot points and scares that I've seen done better elsewhere. And some of those, most of those were in the first movie.
You know what's funny?
So many.
You mentioned that is there are a lot of times where I said, huh? Is it because they're referencing something from the first one as if you would remember it from 10 years ago, were verbatim.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember all of this. And I agree with you about it being comedically confused because Zoe Deutsch or Dutch, however the hell you pronounce her name, her character felt too outlandish compared to Tallahassee, Little Rock,
right,
and Wichita and all them.
This is different from the first movie in that look, the first one, the characters were really well developed. And it's not a fucking masterpiece in terms of cinema. I get that, but they had depth. Tallahassee started out and he was a hard ass. He was kind of an asshole. But then you learned out that his fucking dog died. And then you learned out it's not even his dog, it's his child.
Yeah.
Wow, this is really fucking deep.
And he just wants some Twinkies.
He just wants some Twinkies. And you learn that, Jesse Eisenberg is, he's kind of like this nebbishy guy, but, he's very smart and he's very resourceful and he's got a plan and he's got needs. This one, it's just there's so many characters in this that were just stereotypes. Zoe Deutsch has no use beyond just being the punchline, beyond being the dumb valley girl.
And she was, if this were an Anchorman movie, yes.
Right.
Her character fits in, but in this world, even though it is unrealistic because zombies don't exist, the characters are supposed to be a little more grounded. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't feel like she fit in entirely. And all the other new characters were just barely in this.
The Berkeley characters, the same thing with the stereotypes. And the Luke Wilson, Thomas Middleditch segment, and is this a Farrelly Brothers movie? What are we doing here? This is a bit that would not have worked in the world of the first movie, I feel.
Well, and also, I guess without giving too much, they're not in it for very long.
Right.
And they serve... That whole section is a complete detour.
Yeah, that sort of serves to the whole point of just this narrative being confused.
Rosario Dawson, Rosario Dawson's shoehorned in as well. There's also a really dumb Deus Ex Machina moment at the end.
Yeah.
Also, the whole the hippie compound place, without giving away too much, wouldn't it have been more interesting if more of the movie took place there?
Yeah, it feels kind of like an afterthought.
Yeah, it just felt like, oh, and then there's this place. Instead of, well, shouldn't that be where most of the movie takes place? I don't know. Also, the rules were a little fast and loose with these supposedly better zombies. Mm-hmm. Like, well, it seems like you killed that one the same way you would the old ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's, I don't know. It just, this movie felt like it changed what it wanted to be about. I mean, literally about, like, oh, we got to find this character. Then, 5 minutes later, it's like, well, we need to go here to find this character. No, we got to go here. No, we don't need them. We don't need to find them anymore. It's like, also, what?
Which one? Little Rock? Is that Abigail Breslin?
Yeah.
Her character sucked in this. It was written terribly.
Yeah, she didn't have a whole lot to do.
She didn't have a whole lot to do, and it was just kind of like this, I'm so bored of this, like, angsty teen, even though she's supposed to be...
One-dimensional angsty teen.
23 or whatever.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that didn't really work. I guess if there was one thing that was done well, the action was pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine. I wish there was more of it. Some of it was CGI, some of it was not good.
Yeah. I think part of the problem was the action was pretty good, but the scenes in between, sometimes you're just waiting for things to pop off. Like, get to the good shit. Mm-hmm. So this was not good, but it was watchable.
Like, look, I get it. Like, writing movies is it's hard, especially when the film you're writing is a sequel to a movie that's as refreshing as the first Zombieland. Like, you can't put that genie back in its proverbial bottle. It's the same thing with Deadpool 2 versus Deadpool 1. It's impossible to do, but you could have either put more effort into delivering a solid follow-up anyway, or opted for a more timely release, or, better yet, perhaps you could have just foregone the idea of a sequel entirely and just simply let the time slip by like you already have.
Yeah.
But I still had a decent time with this. Like, it's, if you like the first Zombieland, it's worth a look. It's not going to be as good. Like, I think anybody who thinks this is as good or better, Jesus, I don't think I know anybody who thinks this is better as the first one.
A lot of chatter that people think this is as good.
As good,
which is...
That's not as outlandish as better. Like, anybody who says this is better, like, you're out of your fucking mind, I think. But whatever.
Your opinion's wrong.
Your opinion's wrong, man. Like,
Not allowed.
Not allowed. It's incorrect mathematically.
Yeah.
That's whatever, but I don't see it. I would, we're moving on to scores.
Yeah.
I would give this a 6.5. The 0.5 comes from just my love of the characters and honestly seeing, like, it does look like Woody Harrelson and Jesse Eisenberg and even Emma Stone are, like, genuinely happy and enthusiastic to be playing these characters again. Abigail Breslin, I don't know.
I would almost say it kind of felt like they were trying, but with weaker material.
The material for sure, but, like, it looked like...
Yeah.
I mean, they're in this movie, for God's sake, and it's like they could honestly be... They've all moved on to bigger and better things, except Woody Harrelson. He's kind of just been doing the same thing because he's fucking Woody Harrelson. He's the shit.
He's
but
just doing whatever
Emma
he
Stone's
wants.
Got an Oscar. Jesse Eisenberg was Lex Luthor, but...
that didn't work. He's doing other things.
But, like, it was cool to see them back, but beyond that, I'm not falling for the nostalgia thing, man. It's not a great movie.
6.5. I'm going to go 2.5 because I was starting to get bored at some points, and that was like that's when it really occurred to me like this really is, as you pointed out, a little too similar to Deadpool 2 in that you're trying to make something that was kind of about let's pick apart a genre or whatever. Mm-hmm. And, point out its flaws or, like, whatever. Like, kind of do that whole thing.
Deconstruct it.
Deconstruct. That's what the fuck I was looking for. Mm-hmm. Tried doing that, and it just doesn't work a second time. So, to me, because it's watchable, even though it's kind of flat line, I'm going to give it 2.5.
Okay, so that brings it to a total of a 9 out of 10. Or a 9 out of 15.
So that'll do it for our review of not as good version of the first one.